This video is sponsored by Audible. For a free audiobook, use the link in the description below. Today is September 16th, 2024, and Reactor Magazine has released two new Wind and Truth preview chapters. This week, they're not the traditional chapters, there are two interludes, Interludes 1 and 2. So in this video, I'll be giving my thoughts on these two interludes. Before we get into Interlude 1, I want to give a quick spoiler warning. This interlude is very Cosmere connected. I usually try to avoid spoilers for any books outside of the Stormlight Archive, but in this interlude, I'll need to talk about a few things from Mistborn Era 2, and I'll briefly mention something from Warbreaker. If you want to avoid any spoilers for those books, skip to the timestamp listed on the screen right now. Interlude 1 is titled Kalak. And since these are interludes, there are no epigraphs this week. This interlude starts off with Kalak, still at lasting integrity, locking himself in his quarters. He's being his normal, paranoid self, but as we'll see shortly, he has good reason to be paranoid. Even after being alive for thousands of years, Kalak still does not want to die. We get the surprising revelation that the Herald Ishar has been holding back some of the madness for Kalak, and presumably all of the other heralds as well. This is likely possible thanks to Ishar's great control over connection. This is very noble of Ishar to do, but definitely helps explain why Ishar himself is so mad. It also raises a few questions about what will happen if Ishar is killed with a Raysium dagger. Will all of the madness that he's been holding back flood the other heralds all at once? And would that cause them to do crazy and unpredictable things, potentially hurting the efforts of the Radiants? Perhaps we'll get the answers to those questions in this book. Kalak refers to Thaidakar as a herald from another world. I think that's a pretty fitting description considering Thaidakar and the heralds are all cognitive shadows that have been nailed to a physical body. As Kalak enters his study, he's immediately grabbed and gagged by awakened drapes. That's right, we're seeing the use of BioChromatic breath. These magic crossovers are pretty cool. And as a small side note, Kalak also thinks that the drapes are acting like a constrictor from the old world. So Ashen must have had large snakes on it before the disaster happened. After Kalak is grabbed by the drapes, another man starts speaking. This man turns out to be Felt, a world hopper originally from Scadrial who has long been loyal to House Whelan. He was there when Dalinar went to the valley to visit the Night Watcher. He acted as a scout during the War of Reckoning on the Shattered Plains, and he accompanied Adolin and Shallan on their journey to lasting integrity. This seemingly loyal man who Dalinar and Adolin regarded as a friend is revealed here to be working for the Ghostbloods. Felt opens the Sion box that Shallan left with Kalak, and it turns out that Aele, the timid and abused Sion, was actually pretending the whole time and is also working for the Ghostbloods. She's been spying on basically every conversation Shallan has had, and she relayed the information on Ba-Otto Mishram's location to Iyatil and Thaidakar. We also get an explicit reveal that Kelsier is Thaidakar. I wasn't expecting that to be revealed in this book. Now I need to rethink where I should recommend new readers to read Wind and Truth in my reading order videos. I kind of feel like learning that Kelsier is Thaidakar in this interlude is much less impactful than learning that he's still alive at the end of Bands of Mourning and then diving straight into Secret History. So now I'm questioning whether I should recommend people to read Mistborn Era 2 before starting Wind and Truth, but I'm not really sure. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. This interlude ends with Kalak being held hostage, and even in this predicament, he feels a bit relieved because he'll no longer have to make decisions. So we'll just have to wait and see if Kalak gets stabbed with the Raysium dagger that Felt has, or if he has some other fate awaiting him. Then we get to Interlude 2. This interlude is titled The Divided God. It's from Odium's perspective, and remember that it's now Taravangian as the vessel for this shard. I'll refer to him as Todium going forward in this video. We get a new chapter icon. In previous books, Taravangian chapters would have one of two chapter icons depending on if he was having an intelligent day or an emotional day. This one here on the left was the icon for his emotional days, and the one on the right is the icon for his intelligent days. The new chapter icon is very similar, but there are a few changes. If we look at the old ones, there was one version of Taravangian who looked angry and one version of him who looked sad. sad, and the sad one was holding, it looks like maybe a stick or a branch with leaves coming off of it. In this new icon, both versions of Taravangian are looking angry. We can also see that his crown is different. It is now much more pointed, somewhat reminiscent of that sketch of Ba-Auto Mishram that we got from Shallan's sketchbook a few chapters back. The interlude starts with Odium holding a dead child in a backwater nation known as Tubela. This nation is in chaos, with its people starving and warlords rising up in place of a collapsed government. Cultivation shows up to speak with Odium. He's having a difficult time dealing with his newfound powers. He claims that he now has infinite capacity to see, infinite capacity to feel, and infinite capacity for agony. Even though he's now ascended to godhood, he still seems to have kept the boon that Cultivation gave him, giving him a divide between emotions and intelligence. The difference now is that instead of being one or the other depending on the day, he seems to be both at once. It's almost like he has a split personality, with one personality being completely emotional and one being completely logical. I wonder if this could cause the shard of Odium to split in two. Maybe one half would be called passion and the other would be called something like logic or reason. Of course, this is just wild speculation, but let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. He speaks with Cultivation about his desire to directly intervene with the world to prevent the atrocities he's seeing play out on Roshar. She warns him that it's a bad idea, and he knows that doing so will stunt the growth of civilization, but he still thinks that limiting free will is the best option. He brings up the shattering of Adonalsium and says that the shards are acting like the warlords of Tubela, consolidating their power so no one can kill them. He also says that he can feel anytime someone suffers anywhere in the galaxy, and that there's no way to soothe that agony until there's only one God. Cultivation warns him not to go down that path, but he refuses to listen, so Cultivation leaves, planning to work against him. The interlude ends with Odium reminding himself that he isn't Odium, he just holds the shard of Odium. He's Taravangian, and he plans to save everyone in the Cosmere. He's starting to give me a lot of Thanos vibes. I wonder if he'll try to shatter all the other shards like Ray's, the old vessel of Odium, was attempting, or if he'll instead try to merge them all. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Wind and Truth is already available for pre-order, and you can get it or any other book of your choice as an audiobook right now for free, thanks to the sponsor of this video, Audible. Just click the link in the description and sign up for a free Premium Plus membership, and you'll get an audiobook to keep, even if you cancel your membership. The membership also gives you access to thousands of other audiobooks and podcasts in the Audible Plus catalog. Sign up at audibletrial.com/etc or click the link in the description below. Also, if you enjoy my content, consider supporting the channel by becoming a channel member or a patron. Those will also be linked in the description. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.